I was scrolling through TikTok recently and saw this one video that talked about the emotional cycle of change. It explained that when we decide to make a positive change in our lives, we go through 5 stages: uninformed optimism, informed pessimism, the valley of despair, informed optimism, and completion. Apparently, many of us quit when we reach the valley of despair. I'll explain each of these stages later, but pretty much if you have ever tried to make a positive change in your life, then you have probably experienced this cycle, whether you know it or not. I personally have been working on creating a brand for about 9 months now. It started with one failed blog, then I tried creating another blog, I attempted to grow on TikTok, and then finally settled on YouTube being my main focus. This is my 7th video, and I think it's safe to say that I am in the middle of this cycle, down deep in the valley of despair. But along the way, I have learned some valuable lessons that I hope will help you make it to completion. This is how to get through the valley of despair. My name's Kyle, and I'm on a journey to find a little more balance, so you can too. Please subscribe for new videos every Thursday. What's going on? So I'm out here at Hawk Hill, which is kind of like a little lookout to the Golden Gate Bridge. For those who didn't know, I'm from the Bay Area. But yeah. Good spot, good little lookout of the Golden Gate Bridge. Also, whenever I'm filming, I also like to pick spots that are not very crowded because I still feel kind of weird about just like talking to a camera. Yeah. Someone's looking at me right now, and they're judging me. All right. The first stage of the emotional cycle of change is the uninformed optimism stage. The idea pops into your head that you want to make a positive change in your life. Maybe you want to learn a new skill or form a new healthy habit. For me, I wanted to create a brand. I had absolutely no idea of how I was going to do this or what it was going to be about, but I was full of excitement and eager to get started. When you're in this stage, you may find yourself dreaming about all the future benefits that will come from making the change, but at this point, we are not yet aware of how much hard work actually needs to be put in to achieve completion. So I casually embarked on my mission to create a brand. I started a blog and naively expected to see positive results within no time. The uninformed optimism stage was fun while it lasted, but it didn't last long. I really like this spot because there's a bunch of like cool graffiti art.
My score's been growing all the day, and my day's been shining too bright. Keep me on the edge of my seat, babe, tucked away forever dim light. Seems too real. Wanna keep it.
Alright, update. I got on this little platform thing. Pretty neat. Yeah, so the uninformed optimism stage, that probably lasted about like 2 months for me. It was kind of like I started my first blog, ended up calling it a failure and shutting it down, and once I had to do that, I knew that like just this whole project was going to be a lot harder than I anticipated, which I guess kind of led me into the informed pessimism stage. And after those 2 months, I realized like, wow, This is not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I knew that it was going to take a lot more work than what I was doing. Pretty sweet. The next stage is the informed pessimism stage. This is when you begin to realize that the positive change you were trying to make is a lot harder than you expected. All of a sudden, all those future benefits begin to seem further and further out of reach. After working on my first blog for several months, I reached the point where I had made so many mistakes that I thought it would be better to just scrap it and start over. I went back to the drawing board and realized that this was going to be a lot harder than I anticipated. I was discouraged, but continued anyways. Another several months went by, and in that time, I tried starting another blog, played around with TikTok content, and then finally settled on YouTube being my main focus for the brand. When you're in this stage, you may find yourself disheartened. All that energy and enthusiasm you had at the beginning has faded, and reality has set in. This is when it's more important than ever to fully commit to the positive change you are trying to make. You must persevere through the informed pessimism stage and be passionate about the change you're making, because what comes next is the valley of despair. The valley of despair is where I am right now. This is the stage where you're putting in a lot of time and effort without seeing many results. It's a slow climb out of the valley of despair, but worth it if you can make it out. Alright, update. Looking out at a nice valley. I think it's a good time to talk about
the valley of despair.
So I am currently in the valley of despair with like YouTube, you know? Yeah, I mean, I heard somewhere that it probably takes like 3 years of consistently making YouTube videos to get good at it. So, you know, I'm committed, I'm ready to do it. But let me tell you, yeah, I'm in the valley of despair. I feel so awkward talking to this camera right now. You could probably tell. I think with the whole YouTube thing, there's just like a lot that I have to get used to. Like I have to get used to using a camera, I have to get used to like talking to a camera, editing, like, and then also just like balancing that all into like my schedule and what I do already, you know? I think for me, like one of the hardest parts too is like finding my style. Like it's hard to kind of find the style that works best for me, but you know, I know that patience is a big part of that, and I know I just have to like keep pushing myself creatively to get past it. But it just takes time to like figure these things out, you know? And I think just with a lot of things, whether it's like a sport or a language, like it just like takes time to get good at things, you know? I mean, we're so used to like the instant gratification these days, but I mean, if you really want to like get good at a craft and make a positive change, like you have to grind, you have to practice. It's not easy, but if you stay committed, I'm a big believer, if you work hard and you stay committed, you could literally do whatever you want. So it's nice to be in some shade. A lot hotter than I thought I was gonna be. Just feels great when you get it all in one shot, you know? It's the little things in life. It's the little things in life. Also, cuties, money, real tasty, real refreshing. If you manage to make it out of the valley of despair, you will enter the informed optimism stage. This is when things start to click. All that hard work and effort start to pay off, and you begin to see some positive results. Finally, we reach the almighty completion stage, where the goal is achieved. Those results that you were dreaming about back in the uninformed optimism stage have finally manifested, and you can celebrate. I love each and every one of my 18 subscribers, but I'm still far from the completion stage.
Day upon day of this wandering gets you done. Nobody gives you a chance.
While I've yet to reach my goal, I do have some tips for how I've stuck through the valley of despair thus far.
Hunger and silence from you is a giveaway.
Celebrate the little victories. This is not the time to be modest. You're challenging yourself to grow, and you should be proud of those small wins day in and day out.
Then I compare notes with your older sister. I am a lazy cat.
Deliberately practice. Try to be purposeful and systematic with the way you improve. Play to your strengths and try to progress your weaknesses. If you can improve just a little bit each day, over time, you will see great results. Aim for consistency over intensity. Slow and steady wins the race. Small, consistent action is what will get you to your goals, not large, inconsistent steps. The best food comes from the oven, not the microwave. Good things take time. Trust the process.
It's better than posh isolation. I miss the buzz.
Quitting is not an option. It's not easy to work hard at something without any gratification. But in order to make it through the valley of despair, you can't look back. You can't give up. Keep going. I won't give up, and neither will you. Alright, so that's it for the video. Please, if you liked it, please give it a like and subscribe if you feel like it. And yeah, leave a comment too, because I will respond to you, so we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, stay balanced, and I'll see you next Thursday.